Hey, what's up, guys? Sam recently talked about the buyback and burn function from all the profit and how that can actually be used to do buyback and rewards. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that because the buyback and burn is kind of why I believe in the future of Evergrow coin. There's a couple big reasons. One of them is just Sam. The other one is the buyback and reward and creator and all the potential that we have. So with the buyback and burn, I think that we all really like this function because what this does is what we have is when we have buys and sells, we know that we have our liquidity pool, which is Evergrow coin paired with BNB. And what we hold as our wallets is actually just gives us access. How the Evergrow that you hold gives you access to affect the liquidity pool. If you buy more, then you raise the price, right? And if we sell, then we lower the price. And everybody has access to do this to the liquidity pool based on the amount of Evergrow coin that you hold. Which is why if you look at the list of all the holders, you see that many people have millions and millions of dollars, but there's not actually that much in the liquidity pool to give everybody that much. So if one person tried to tank that price, so if a massive whale tried to tank the price of Evergrow coin, the liquidity pool is designed in a way that it can't be brought to zero. And actually, the more you try to take out, the worse deal that you get. So if someone tries to sell a huge portion of their bag and tries to take a lot of BNB out of the pool, they're going to get a terrible deal, and it's going to leave a lot of BNB in there as opposed to us when we make smaller sells. The reason this is important, I think that the people don't want to see buyback and reward. You do want to see it, but you don't want to see it until we've burnt through a lot of our supply is why. So for one, buyback and burn, the reason I like it so much is it makes a huge buy. They take their profit and then they use it to buy Evergrow coin, and it pays the fee and it puts more BNB into the liquidity pool. But at the same time, it removes the tokens that were used to buy that from supply. So it sends them to the burn wallet. And when it does that, it removes tokens from ever being able to pull out of the liquidity pool. So it's an amazing function. If we were going to do buyback and reward, then that would just be essentially them buying tokens and redistributing to all the holders. And obviously all the whales are going to get the most because they own the biggest amount. So if you don't hold a lot, then you're not going to get as much. It's still nice, big, we're still going to see green candles. Plus everyone gets a little bit more Evergrow coin, and it increases the amount of BNB they can take out of the liquidity pool. The reason that I personally don't like this, and I'm sure others don't right now, is that whales are still dominant when it comes to rewards. They're dominant with the price and they're dominant with the rewards. This is with any rewards token, whales own a certain percentage to the total supply. They have a lot more than most people, and their rewards are much higher. So with the buyback and reward, in my opinion, you don't want to do this until you have reached a good supply to where you want to stop the burn. It is a great function, but in my opinion, you don't want to use that until we've burned through a lot of the supply, because all we're doing really is giving whales more dominance. And as the whales get more rewards, they can just keep selling the rewards. But with the buyback and burn, what we have is we have the wallet that buys BNB, puts a huge amount of BNB into the liquidity pool, $100,000 buys, $1 million buys, whatever our profit's going to be from all utilities over the lifetime of Evergrow coin and all the utilities they create. We have 5 utilities in the works right now, but they can always make more, which is why even if our current utilities don't necessarily explode, I still believe Evergrow, as long as they have potential to keep making new utilities, is a great hold long term. So we see a big increase with this function, with the buyback and burn function, of increasing the amount of BNB in the liquidity pool. And what that does is it, instead of increases everyone's bags a little bit, is it increases the liquidity pool a lot. And what we see from that is the solution to what we all want. We want a decreasing in the whales, and the whales want that too. The whales want to sell their bags and take a profit. Certain whales are holding for rewards, and certain whales just are going to sell big parts of their bags. And the easiest way to get rid of those whales, I believe, is going to be buyback and burn from the profit, puts more BNB in, the whales sell. And what we see on the chart is these big spikes and these big dips. And then we see, especially if we're growing, we see an army or a family behind them willing to buy those dips back up. And through all those ups and downs, we're getting our rewards. And that's kind of what we're holding for a while we see the price going up, because this can only last so long. The whales only have so much dominance to the liquidity pool to have the effect on it. And we see this with every project that you're basically working through that. But because we have so many whales, it really does demonstrate a huge amount of belief in the project. If you go look at the top holders and you see the holders that have millions of dollars worth of Evergrow and they're all holding, it's a good sign that there's a ton of people who have large stakes in the project, not talking a couple $100 here and there and then going and whining and complaining that they're not millionaires. We're talking people that could sell right now and take a huge profit away, hundreds of thousands of dollars that are holding. That's a good sign that they see the potential of Evergrow's future. I see that potential too. It's a very realistic potential. I'd be lying to you if I said Evergrow doesn't have potential to do huge things in the future. So with these big buys from the buyback and burn, and with the whale cells, and with the Evergrow family eating up those whale cells, we're going to start to see big volume and big rewards. And what we want really is the decreasing the percentage of whales that are going to sell, because there's a lot of whales that just aren't going to sell and are holding for passive income. So by having the buyback and burn function, we're going to work our way through the whale dominance at an extremely healthy rate. Then what we can do is, we have our supply and we actually do burn a lot of tokens, which is really awesome, because when we look at this with low price, we know that we are going to burn a lot of tokens with a low price. The lower the price, the higher the volume, the more tokens burned. And that kind of leaves us with the situation that if we are doing the buyback and burn, which is what everybody wants, then we're going to see massive amounts of tokens being burned through the buys from the buyback and burn function and through the selling. And what we'll start to see, I imagine, is actually less selling is possible, because if Evergrow demonstrates the ability to actually create big green candles through the buyback and burn from the profit from the utility, people are going to want to hold. I mean, that's what we see. When we see Evergrow starts to go up, it really starts to go up when you add these functions to it. Just the buyback and burn plus the buyback and burn from the 14%. The percentage of that is used for buyback and burn. Once we start to go up, we really start to go up. So there's huge potential when our utility comes out that we'll see some price action we've never seen before, and we'll be able to blow past our all-time high. The ideal is to get to a low supply through this function. I mean, you're going to get two things with this. With this volume from the buyback and burn, you're going to get either two things. You're going to get a low supply or a high price. And they're both ideal, because as we have these massive buys and these massive sells at these lower prices, we start eating through our supply. So either the price is going to be increased or we're going to burn through a ton of tokens. More than likely, it'll be a mix of both through these ups and downs. We're going to be seeing a lot of burns on the way up and a lot of burns on the way down. The good thing about the price going down is we burn through more of the supply. Now, what we want to do, I think what is ideal, is to burn through 90 to 95% of our supply, maybe more, because what that will do is it'll greatly increase our rewards. Then we'll be seeing massive reward increase. It's already $170 right now. That's not how you spell rewards. And if we got down to that point, the numbers are insane. So if we got down to just 25 trillion supplies, say we burnt through, that's kind of the ideal stopping point that a lot of people have talked about. And we could stop way before this and still see huge increases. But if we got down to 25 trillion, then for every billion tokens you hold, then you would be getting $3,200 per billion in volume. That might take a month. That's only 33 million a day to hit $1 billion a month. That'd be 3,200 a month with only 33 million a day if we reach 25 trillion. But say we did 100 trillion, which would be a tenth of our actual supply, would still be $800 for every billion tokens, for every billion in volume. If we had daily billion volume, that'd be 800 a day. But if we only got 33 million in daily volume, that would be 800 to 3,200 a month, depending on where the burn stops. The great thing about this is they can at any point, if they want to, just experiment with the buyback and rewards. So not only will we be seeing insane rewards at this point, if they burn through our supply really fast, then we'd be seeing a dramatic increase in our rewards. I mean, that's an insane thing, because that can never go back down. As this goes up, the amount that we get always goes up with it. Even for 33 million daily volume, you'd be seeing that every month. For every billion you hold at 100 trillion, you'd be seeing $800 a month. That's really good. And with every billion that you held at 25 trillion, you'd be seeing $3,200 a month for only $33 million in daily volume. That is not unrealistic. This is where buyback and reward really can be a game changer, because now the buyback and burn function has created enough green candles to hopefully wear through a lot of the whales to give later holders a chance to become more dominant and to increase all of our rewards. Then we have what is going to happen if they switch to the buyback and reward. And to me, this is the ideal time to do it, is at the end, because now all the profit from all the utility, if it's consistently still happening while rewards have been greatly magnified, is going to switch to rewarding. And now it's going to increase everybody's rewards. So it can actually have an even bigger effect on the increase of our rewards. And we've actually talked about this, which is that if we got to the point where they wanted to stop burning tokens, not only would we have the buyback and burn, but we'd also have the buyback and reward. So we've actually got three methods of buyback and burn that can all become buyback and reward. So it actually gets even bigger. We've got the moonshot, which is the big green candles that they control. We've got the regular one that just happens constantly, little buys that constantly happen. And then we've got the profit from utility buyback and burn. So if they decided, hey, we've burnt through a great deal of our supply, now let's turn all of our moonshot, our regular buyback and burn, and our profit from utility buyback and burn into buyback and reward, then we would see all of these have a huge effect on our rewards. So instead of the moonshot and regular percentage being the 8% rewards that we always get, it would be increased to 10 if they ever stopped burning tokens, because that'd be an extra 2% for the buyback and burn that would instead be used for buyback and reward. So it would increase our rewards to 10%. And then we would have all our profit from all our utility as an extra method of rewarding tokens, which, depending on the amount, $100,000, $1 million over a period of time, can turn into a lot of tokens being rewarded on top of the increase of our regular percentage from the 8 to 10%, on top of the burn stop, which already has a massive increase on our rewards. So the potential is really huge. And buyback and burn is, to me, the life-saving function of rewards tokens. And buyback and reward is just the cherry on top that can come at the right time to make the rewards even better. So that's my views on the buyback and burn. I love this function. It's something that gives me so much hope in the project. It's why I fell in love with Evergrow, is because the buyback and burn function. I just did the math. I looked at the tokenomics and I was blew away by it. And I made a video and I told you guys about it. Many of you guys listened to me and made some big returns, some big profits, and good passive income. And I still am so bullish on it. I think we're going to blow past our all-time high. We have that potential to do that. We have serious potential to make that a reality. If you guys do me a favor, like, comment, and sub, I really appreciate that. It only takes a second to do, and it supports my hours of work. So you guys have a great day.